From the moment Luka Doncic stepped onto an NBA court, his trajectory seemed destined for stardom and for controversy. In just a few short years, he's earned a reputation as one of the most cunning playmakers in the league. But things took a sudden turn at the start of this season when he struggled in his first 3 games, leading critics to wonder if his era of dominance had finally hit a wall. Questions swirled across social media, with fans and analysts alike pondering whether this was the beginning of a decline, a temporary slump, or simply the inevitable growing pains of a young superstar. Yet, in a narrative twist no one quite expected, Doncic has since found an astonishing rhythm, particularly when facing the Los Angeles Lakers, and rekindled the belief that he's poised to reclaim his spot among the NBA's elite. It's not just about raw numbers, though the stats are eye-popping. It's about the electric sense of possibility that surges through every possession he controls. For many fans, these recent performances affirm what they've suspected all along. Luka Doncic is so back. He has recaptured that blend of sharp basketball IQ and fearless creativity, leaving skeptics scrambling for explanations. But how exactly did he bounce from an underwhelming stretch to a mesmerizing renaissance, especially against a powerhouse franchise like the Lakers? And more importantly, what does this resurgence say about the future of the league itself? The season began with far less fanfare than usual for Doncic. In his first 3 outings, he looked out of sync, missing jumpers he would normally sink, turning the ball over in situations he typically orchestrates effortlessly. Critics quickly seized the moment, labeling him out of shape or unfocused. Online forums lit up with memes poking fun at his slump, and rumors hinted at lingering offseason injuries the team was trying to keep under wraps. Beyond the visible on-court struggles, there were murmurs of internal discord. Some insiders claimed he felt frustrated with the team's direction. Others suggested he was clashing with certain players who hadn't lived up to their defensive responsibilities, placing a heavier burden on his shoulders. Whatever the cause, the result was the same: an undeniable step backward for a player whose early career had been defined by leaps forward. Yet Doncic never lost his characteristic confidence. Even as the media sounded alarms, he acknowledged the slump but insisted he would turn it around. Teammates echoed his optimism, praising his leadership and refusing to feed the narrative that their star guard was losing his edge. And then, almost as if flipping a switch, everything changed. By the time the team matched up against the Lakers, something in Doncic's game had clicked back into place. Gone were the forced shots and awkward drives. In their place stood a poised floor general who seemed to see the entire court 2 steps ahead of everyone else. This wasn't just a player returning to form, it was an athlete reintroducing the NBA to an even sharper, more dangerous version of himself. During these contests, Doncic drained long-range daggers with the nonchalance of a casual warm-up. He threaded passes through razor-thin gaps in the defense, exposing holes even the Lakers coaching staff hadn't anticipated. The scoreboard told a story of a revitalized star, but the real evidence lay in the way he commanded double teams and forced the opposition to adapt on the fly. Witnessing this dramatic turnaround left fans in awe. Some pinned the improvement on better conditioning, noting that he appeared lighter on his feet. Others pointed to newly implemented offensive sets that played more to his strengths. A vocal minority still chalked it up to a fluke, convinced he'd regress once defenses recalibrated. But as the games piled up, each one showcased Doncic's unwavering brilliance. What's especially intriguing is how Doncic exploited the Lakers' vaunted defense. A unit anchored by top-tier talent like Anthony Davis, supported by a rotating cast of defensive-minded guards. Early in the season, the Lakers appeared poised to flex their dominance over younger, less experienced playmakers. Yet, time and again, Luka dissected their rotations, often drawing an extra defender and kicking it out to an open teammate or finishing at the rim with a silky, off-balance layup. Analysts were quick to point out that some of the Lakers' struggles stemmed from injuries. Indeed, missing key defensive pieces reduced their overall effectiveness. But no one could deny that Doncic operated on a higher plane. He outmaneuvered double teams, outthought traps, and outlasted the Lakers in crunch moments. His uncanny ability to lure defenders just enough to create open shots for teammates proved to be the difference in tight fourth quarters. For a team as historically storied as the Lakers, the sight of a young superstar orchestrating that level of control against them was unsettling. Yet in true Hollywood fashion, it also created compelling drama. Fans tuned in to see if the Lakers could crack the code, if their prized veterans could stifle Luka's momentum. Each time, the stage was set for a star star-studded duel, and each time, Doncic found a new way to steal the show. Behind Doncic's broader resurgence lay a critical piece of the puzzle: improved synergy with his supporting cast. While rumors of discontent swirled during his slump, recent on-court coordination suggested a locker room that had collectively decided to rally around its star. Wing players suddenly slashed to the basket at just the right moment. Big men timed their screens to perfection, creating the extra space Doncic needed to orchestrate scoring opportunities. In interviews, teammates praised Luka's leadership, citing his openness in film sessions and his clear communication on the floor. Coaches tweaked their playbook to emphasize motion offense, leveraging Doncic's passing brilliance rather than forcing him into isolation plays each trip down the court. The result was a fluid system that allowed him to bounce back from mistakes and keep defenses guessing. The Lakers, known for adjusting rapidly to opposing threats, threw multiple defensive schemes at Doncic, box and one, zones, switching everything. Yet his adaptability shone through. On nights when his shot wasn't falling, he facilitated with double-digit assists. When defenses sagged off, he punished them from three-point range. This kind of layered approach made him nearly impossible to scheme against consistently, shining a light on his extraordinary basketball IQ. As word spread of Doncic's revival, the broader NBA community took notice. Pundits who once questioned whether he'd peaked too early pivoted back to praising his maturity. Meanwhile, casual fans who tune in primarily for marquee matchups found themselves glued to the highlight reels. Within days, social media brimmed with clips of Luka's ankle-breaking crossovers, pinpoint passes, and last-second heroics. Suddenly, talk of a new generational rivalry emerged. Could LeBron James or Anthony Davis keep pace with Doncic's current tear? Did this mark the beginning of a new era where young stars like Luka would eventually overshadow the league's aging icons? The discussion spilled over into every corner of the basketball world, with even longtime veterans marveling at how quickly Doncic re-established himself as a must-see phenomenon. In a league that thrives on storylines, Doncic's rocky start followed by a meteoric comeback was irresistible. You had the proven star who once again looked like a future MVP, the iconic Lakers franchise fighting to maintain its seat of power, and a series of games that brought out the best in everyone involved. If the NBA is a stage, Luka Doncic had become its brightest headliner, at least for the moment. The Lakers brand is built on generational talent: Magic, Kareem, Kobe, Shaq, and now LeBron. Facing them has always been a litmus test for up-and-coming stars eager to carve out a place in history. In that sense, Luka's dominance over them carried symbolic weight. It was more than just a matchup, it was a potential passing of the torch from one NBA era to the next. Fans at Staples Center, now Crypto.com Arena, found themselves uncharacteristically subdued each time Luka pulled off a clutch play. Sure, they were there to cheer for their team, but the artistry on display forced even the staunchest Lakers loyalists to grudgingly applaud. In post-game interviews, opposing players acknowledged the challenge of corralling someone who plays with a mix of patience and audacity rarely seen in a player his age. Even some Lakers insiders quietly speculated about what might happen if the franchise, known for luring superstars, ever found a way to bring Doncic to Hollywood. While that remains firmly in the realm of speculation, it teases the idea that in the modern NBA, any superstar could potentially team up with any franchise. For now, however, fans can only watch in admiration or frustration, depending on their loyalties, as Luka continues to test the Lakers' storied reputation. For all the hype surrounding his resurgence, Doncic's journey remains a story in progress. The league adapts to new threats at breakneck speed, and if there's one certainty about NBA defenses, it's that they evolve. Scouts are already dissecting film to spot his tendencies. Rival teams will fine-tune their rosters and strategies to keep him off balance. Then there's the matter of Luka's endurance. Historically, his usage rate has been sky high, raising concerns about whether he can maintain this level of intensity throughout a grueling 82-game season and beyond. Injuries, personal slumps, or changes in team dynamics could all derail his momentum again, much like the Lakers themselves, who oscillate between triumphant runs and dramatic downturns. Doncic must navigate the highs and lows with resilience if he wants to cement his place among the all-time greats. Still, it's hard not to be swept up by the excitement. Every time Luka steps onto the floor, especially against formidable foes like the Lakers, viewers anticipate something special: a breathtaking step-back three, a thread-the-needle pass, or a game-winning shot that crystallizes his brilliance. His comeback from an uncharacteristic slump underscores the narrative that in the NBA, fortunes can flip in an instant, and Luka Doncic is the embodiment of that thrilling possibility. Luka Doncic's roller coaster start to the season has only strengthened his case as one of basketball's most compelling figures. Where a lesser player might have allowed early struggles to define them, Doncic transformed them into a spark, a challenge to overcome and surpass. His revitalized performances, particularly against a Lakers squad loaded with star power, have reignited conversations about his potential to dominate the league for years to come. Add to that his evolving on-court chemistry with LeBron James, once a jarring mismatch of timing and style, now showing genuine flashes of synergy, and the intrigue around Luka's future only intensifies. It's a reminder of just how quickly storylines can shift in the NBA. One week, Luka is cast as a star losing his touch. The next, he's hailed as the unstoppable prodigy everyone thought he was. But this bounce back is more than a short-term redemption arc. It's a testament to how true greatness requires continuous adaptation, mental fortitude, and the willingness to evolve. Whether or not he can sustain this level of play remains to be seen, but for now, the message is clear. Luka Doncic is so back, and his journey, especially against the Lakers, promises to captivate us all for a long time to come.